Hello and welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. Well, some local cities who lost vehicle license fee money to the state in a budget shift a couple years ago say they want their money back. And the mayor of one of those cities, the city of Menifee, is here now. He's Scott Mann. Thank you very much for being here.
Good morning, Leslie. Thank you for having me on your program.
So Governor Brown thought, well, we could use some of that money from the vehicle licensing fee locally, and I took it to balance the state budget, and now it's leaving you in a lurch.
It is. As one of the four newest cities in the state of California, four new cities in Riverside County, we're one of the cities that stood most to lose with the governor taking that revenue back and shifting it to public safety. And there's been a couple of efforts in the Assembly to restore that funding that just didn't get approved by the governor under its existing language. And so now what we have is a bill introduced by Senator Roth and Senator Emerson, co-authored, called SB 56, introduced in January. And it seems to have new legs, broad-based bipartisan support, and some of the impediments that were in place before have seemed to have been removed, and it has its first public hearing coming up on April 17th.
Now, what does this bill do? It shifts the focus away from vehicle license fees onto property tax instead?
It does, where it used to be about a decade ago. Cities used to have an additional property tax to help these deliver services to their residents, and what SB 56 seeks to do is two things for the new cities. Restore some of the plus up that they were supposed to have as part of incorporation, and it was a scaled and tiered increase of revenue for their first 5 years of existence that went away in 2011 when the governor made the switch. SB 56 seeks to restore that, as well as put back in place a revenue stream for not only the new cities, but all cities in California.
And this is something that particularly impacted new cities like Menifee.
It absolutely did. And I won't bore you with the details of which cities it has hurt the most, but with the Jurupa Valley being the newest city to incorporate, probably stands to really gain the best out of this bill being passed. And Menifee, with its increased sales tax revenue, actually was able to weather the storm a little bit better than the other cities.
Now, with Menifee becoming its own city, you wanted to bring things under your local control. And right now there's an all or nothing thing that you're thinking about in terms of your Parks and Recreations Department, because right now it's a split, it's a divided program.
Correct. We incorporated to have local leadership, have local control over our services. And we felt that, under the county's leadership, we had one representative, and now we have 5. But when it comes to delivery of our Parks and Rec services, the function is split right down the middle of our city by I-215. On the east side of I-215, the Parks and Rec services...
Just like the old-fashioned railroad tracks,
Just
right?
like the old-fashioned railroad tracks. On one side of the tracks, on the east, it's managed by Valleywide Recreation and Park District. On the west side, it's managed by the city, on contract with the County Economic Development Agency.
And you'd like to either take it all, the responsibility, or let go of it?
Correct. We see 3 potential options: leaving it the way that it is, or having Valleywide come all the way west in our city and deliver those services, or divesting ourselves completely from the county and Valleywide and bringing it all in-house.
Okay. Now, you talked about the 215, the central phase of the interchange overpasses. What's going on with that?
Oh, it's really exciting. We're finally at a point where the I-215 central phase has actually started. The I-215 construction is in 3 phases. The southern phase is already done, from I-15-215 split to Scott Road. Central phase is from Scott Road to Nuevo, and it goes right through the city of Menifee. They've actually started that project already with a sound barrier up in the Sun City area of our city, and it will also include some interchange work as time goes on. And it's one of many, many exciting infrastructure projects that are happening in our city.
And people always wonder as they're driving through there. We thank you very much for updating us
You betcha.
on this today. And we thank you for joining us. I'm Leslie Leyton.